Okay, now we're going to take a look at the ancient world, Atlantis, Egypt, pyramids. Now, I'm a veteran esoteric researcher. I spent years studying subjects that most people don't identify with or care to learn. It does serve me a lot. Like Bruce Lee said, all knowledge is self-knowledge. I speak to people about common, moderate subjects as well too, such as music, film. I enjoy speaking with different people from different backgrounds. Now, what we're looking at here is a photograph of Antarctica, and this looks, as you can see, not just a mountain, but a gigantic pyramid. And next to it, at the bottom, there is another picture which looks exactly like one of the pyramids of Giza, which it is not exactly like, it is a pyramid of Giza. So, in today's world, we're looking at photographs of pyramids in places where we would least expect to find them. We're finding pyramids under the oceans, around Japan. We're finding pyramids in the Bermuda, on the ocean floor. We're finding pyramids in China. We're finding pyramids all over the world. And usually where there is an ancient site, there on the opposite side of the world, there is another ancient site. And it appears as if this is done in coordination with each other, balancing each other out. Then if you look at the subject of ley lines, pyramids often are directly on ley lines, energy points, the dragon grid. So, the ancient world had a lot of mystery and wonder to it and a lot of science, which cannot be replicated in today's world. So we're going to continue on and look at a few more photographs. This right here appears to be some sort of a set like you see with the Giza in Antarctica. Isn't that wonderful? And, we're looking in today's world at modern culture, and we're seeing sort of, there might be a sort of a conspiracy, a sort of a mystery, where there's rumors about the giants. 36-foot tall people, 12-foot tall people started out at 7 feet and up, who might have built some of these ancient structures. They were may have been built by tribes of giants, not necessarily the pyramids, but other structures. On the island of Malta, there is a structure that is believed to have been home to a woman giant who fed off honey and beans. Now we're going to, at this point, we're going to look at the Inca pyramids. As you can see right here, the title says, "How is this possible?" And it shows the Inca pyramids directly across from the Egyptian pyramids. Geometrically perfect. Geometrically perfect. And so the Americas, North America, Central America, South America, and all the islands, at one point in the ancient world, were used in coordination with other civilizations on the other side of the world. Look at that. Now you see pre-Inca Egyptian, and they look the same. Now look at this. Indonesia, Mexico, Egypt, Mayan, Balinese. It looks like the same people built them. It doesn't look too different. Egypt, Mexico, Indonesia, China, India, Peru. It looks like all these structures were built by the same people, or a similar group of people. So you have to ask yourself, what in the world was going on all these thousands of years ago for all these people all over the world to be using the same architecture, or very similar architecture, and often the language would be the same. Some words are common amongst these different people. They live so far apart, but they would have common words and common cultural reference, such as hand waves or bow and arrows. You find bow and arrow in places where you would think, something would be different. People would find their own, they'd have their own design. They wouldn't come up with the bow and arrow. Different people, different cultures live so far apart, but yet they would still have the same instruments. And there's been a lot of movies and whatnot written about this, and you can't forget Admiral Byrd and the stories about Admiral Byrd and his encounter in Antarctica with the different sorts of species, and gigantic, taller humans and whatnot, supposedly a more evolved race that wasn't directly connected with people. And there's been governmental projects of people going to Antarctica. During the Cold War, Americans and Russians worked together in Antarctica. That's something that's come out now. Explorers, archaeologists, botanists, zoologists go down to Antarctica to see what they can find, what's down there. And so, we're finding ancient civilizations all over the world. Things that people, and it appears that humans have some sort of amnesia, where we don't know who are these people who built these, where did all these people come from, why don't we know about this now? Why isn't this being spoken about more openly? Why are there pyramids at the bottom of the ocean? So this is a fascinating subject. Very fascinating.